Welcome to another Revolution Sunday or Revolution Sundays with yours truly, Dr. A.G. Green Sr. Welcome. You know what to do. Tag and share and tag and share and tag. Speak as you come into this conclave, this assembly, and also let me know if you can see and hear me well. Let me know if you can see and hear me well. Let me know if you can see and hear me well. Now let's pray. Almighty, we are just so thankful for your goodness, your mercy, grace that is infinite, infinitely astounding. We thank you that your will is done in us, with us, through us. And we pray this in the name of Yeshua, his name, his power, his consciousness. It is so, and so it is. Grand Rising, or whatever time of day it is, when you're watching me, whether that's live or in replay. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you. I am so grateful for you. Let's bring some more people into the party. Tag and share. Share and tag. Tag and share. Share and tag. Tag and share. Share and tag. So, I like to remind you every week of who and what you are. There's a passage in Philippians 4:13 that talks about us being able to do all things through the Christos, through Hamashiach, through the strength and energy of Christ, the power of Christ, the power of Christ's consciousness, the presence, the anointing. Therefore, no matter what situation and circumstance you're in, because you are never alone and because you are powerful, I want you to type it in the comment section. I can. I can. We always exude I can here on this broadcast. I can transcend. I can rise above. I can transform. I can master myself. I can master my reality. I can master my situation. Come on, type it in the comment section. I can. Oh, I sense that so strongly. I sense that so strongly coming from you, resonating from you, that I can, no matter how perilous or dangerous the situation is, I can come through it unscathed. I can come through it whole and complete. I can. Come on, type it in the comment section. Thank you so much. I can. You got to know that you can. You've got to believe that you can. You've got to accept that you can. And the reason that you can is because you are a powerful spiritual species, a powerful spirit being, I believe, of a God class, the offspring of the creator, the source and sustainer of all things. Therefore, that makes you powerful. Oh my Lord, I want you to type it in the comment section and speak out loud 3 times. I am powerful. Come on, type it in the comment section. I am powerful. But I also want you to vocalize it. I want you to speak and use the semantic frequency that is a part of your voice so that the universe around you will fold, collapse, and come into alignment with your statements. I am powerful. Come on, type it in the comment section. I am powerful. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Come on, type it in the comment section. I am powerful. Don't come here thinking you that we encourage weakness. You're not weak. You are powerful. You're not powerless. You are powerful. Own the power. Come on, own the power. Own the power. Some of you all I get a chance to talk to outside of the broadcast, and you share your testimonies. They are testimonies of manifestation, which says to me that you are exercising and utilizing the power that you are and the power that you possess. Now unto him that is able to do exceeding abundantly above all that we ask or think. It's according to the power, family, that worketh in us. When you say I am powerful, tell me how you feel real quickly. When you say I am powerful and feel it, how does that feel to you? Talk back to me real quickly, family. How does that feel to you when you declare that you're powerful out loud? When you hear yourself say it and when you see yourself walking as a powerful spirit being by permission of the Almighty, tell me real quickly in the comment section, how does that feel? My God, how does that feel to know that you are powerful? Come on, tell me real quickly. And then I'm going to move on to the next thing. I want to see some of your comments. How does it feel to know that you are powerful by permission of the Creator? Let's see. I feel like I'm getting charged up and it makes me feel solid. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Anyone else? Anyone else? To know that you're powerful, to accept that you're powerful, to hear yourself say that. Describe the feeling to me. Describe the feeling to me. Let's see. I know how powerful I am apart from the body. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Anybody else want to share? Anybody else want to share? Here we go. Somebody says, Pastor Cotton, the therapist says it's free. Wonderful, wonderful. Anybody else? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. My Krista says empowered, empowered. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Shelby says strong. Awesomeness, awesomeness. When you own the power, listen to me, when you own the power, it is not just self empowering for the sake of being self empowering, but it is self empowering because now you have taken the power that you may have given a government, a job, a person, or a situation away from them. You've taken the power away from those things. Ooh, and then you start realizing that you have the power to change situations, to change circumstances, to decide what happens moving forward in your life. It is a most powerful, uh, enlightening, fulfilling experience to know that you are powerful. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with me. So I'm just checking in on you real quickly. What are you eating and sipping? What are you eating and sipping? Tell me how you're feeling as well. What are you eating and sipping? I've got my usual coffee. This time I've got some caramel macchiato creamer with my coffee today. That's what I'm sipping on. And I'm blessed and empowered. So talk to me. Tell me what you're eating and sipping and how you feel today. How you feel. And how you feel is subjective. It is up to you to decide how you feel. So however you feel is how you feel. Talk back to me real quickly. What you eating and sipping and how you feeling in the moment. That coffee is pretty good. It is pretty good. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. In the meantime, don't forget that you can follow me on the social media handles that you see at the bottom of the screen. Let's see here. Let's see here. Let's see here. Uh, Therapist Cotton says protein shake, feeling great, ready to be fed by the word. Awesomeness, appreciate that. Let's see. Hillary says, I know it's early, but I just ate a bowl that has Mexican rice, chicken, lettuce, corned beans, and pico. Drinking water and feeling great. Good and full. Yeah, you're going to make somebody hungry with eating all that early in the morning. Let's see. Coffee with French vanilla creamer, says Krista. Steak and eggs. Watch out now. Breakfast bowl. Whoa, sounds delicious. Y'all be eating good in the neighborhood. Let's see. Let's see. And Miss Shelby says, sipping on cold Pepsi. Cold Pepsi. Watch out. Watch out. Watch out. Yeah, Hillary, that between the Pepsi and what y'all sipping on, yeah, it sounds delicious. I'm trying to make folk run off here or run to their kitchen while they're watching me, or pull out the DoorDash app or get in their car and go get something. That's good. Very good. Thank y'all for sharing what you're eating and sipping on today. uh, I've got a new series I want to start with you on today. We're going to go to Matthew chapter 17. Matthew chapter 17. We're going to begin at verse 14. We're going to begin at verse 14. Matthew 17, verse 14. And we're going to go down to verse 20. So, my assistants, I want you to prepare, if you would, uh, those verses of scripture to put up on the screen for us so that we can, excuse me, see them. And matter of fact, let me, in case there's some kind of drag or delay in the scriptures being put up, if by chance that happens, I want to be at the text. So I'm going to go there myself to Matthew chapter 17. Matthew chapter 17, beginning at verse 14. 17, beginning at verse 14. I've got some wonderful, wonderful principles I want to share with you. Let's see what we're looking at here. Let's see. 17 and 14, and naturally, those who assist me, I know you can't put them all up at the same time. Look like the NIV is coming up first from Hillary. But they came to the crowd. A man approached Yeshua and knelt before him. Lord, have mercy on my son, he said. He has seizures and is suffering greatly. He often falls into the fire. Let's see. Okay, that is it. Let's see. Verse 17. No, did I get all of that from you, Hillary? I don't think I got all of that from the NIV. Okay. Often falls into the fire or into the water. I brought him to your disciples, but they could not heal him. We're going to finish getting all the NIV before we get to the King James. You unbelieving and perverse generation, Yeshua replied, how long shall I stay with you? How long shall I put up with you? Bring the boy here to me. All right. And then in, let's see, 18, Yeshua rebuked the demon and it came out of the boy and he was healed from that moment. Verse 19, then the disciples came to Yeshua in private and asked, why couldn't we drive it out? Here's verse 20. He replied, because you have so little faith. Truly, I tell you, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move. Nothing will be impossible to you. For you? Do you see that? Nothing shall be impossible for you. King James. Then Yeshua answered. Let's see. No, let me make sure I start the correct text. Here we go. And when they were come to the multitude, there came to him a certain man kneeling down to him and saying, Lord, have mercy on my son, for he is a lunatic and so vexed. Oftentimes he falleth into the fire and oft into the water. And I brought him to thy disciples, and they could not cure him. 17. Then Yeshua answered and said, O faithless and perverse generation, how long shall I be with you? How long shall I suffer you? Bring him hither to me. And Yeshua rebuked the devil and departed out of him. And the child was cured from that very hour. Then came the disciples to Yeshua apart and said, why could we not cast him out? Verse 20, this is King James. And Yeshua said unto him, to them, because of your unbelief, for verily I said to you, if ye have faith as grain of mustard seed, ye shall say to this mountain, remove hence to yonder place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible unto you. I'm going to share in a couple of parts with you over the next few weeks from the subject, big things come in little packages. I want you to type it in the comment section. Big things come in little packages. Big things come in little packages. Type that in the comment section for us. Big things come in little packages. Type that in the comment section for us. Big things come in little packages. Almighty, I'm so thankful and grateful for this opportunity to share, to teach, and present. We bless you, Almighty Source and Sustainer, for the revelation and the transformation and the elevation that's taking place. We bless you and praise you. In Yeshua's name, his power, his way, his consciousness, it is so. And so it is. Yes, yes, yes. Big things do come in little packages. Thank y'all for typing it in the comment section. I think one thing that is largely underestimated by many folks is, of course, I say it often, a crisis as it relates to identity, or the thing that's underestimated, I should say, is the identity, their identity, who and what they are. Who and what they are. And many times in this iteration of ourselves, as we inhabit this simulation, this matrix, people find themselves consistently comparing themselves to other folks. People compare themselves to other people, sometimes based on ethnicity or race. Sometimes people compare themselves to other people based on gender. Folks are comparing themselves to other people based on their financial status or the career that they possess. Sometimes they are comparing themselves to other people based on the family they came from or the family they are a part of. These comparisons always are initiated with a value concept or a concept of value, meaning that we're not just making these comparisons in a vacuum. We are making these comparisons with the belief of value attached to ourselves and those we compare ourselves to. Meaning that in many cases, because of an identity crisis, people feel like if they don't make as much money, if they're not popular, if they don't have what they consider or think to be a good or great career, if they're not seen as some kind of spiritual guru or giant, if they're not in their eyes good looking, if they're not in their eyes intelligent, if they're not in their own eyes relevant, they diminish themselves in size. They reduce their value while they're comparing themselves to other people. Depression, despair, apathy, anxiety, and all these other things begin to surface because when they look in the mirror, they don't see anything they consider to be of great and even global value. So we find ourselves measuring ourselves against other people, but feeling like we do not measure up. Switch to your spiritual experience. You have been in somebody's church or synagogue or wherever you've been and have struggled in your lifetime, hear me, to believe that somehow, some way, you fit the proper description to be loved, to be accepted, to be cherished, to feel of use, to feel valuable, to feel as if you're known by God and by the people that you are connected with. Have you ever been in a crowd and you realize you didn't fit? Have you ever been in circumstances and situations and it didn't take you long to realize that your thinking was different than other folks' thinking? Have you ever been the one that was constantly criticized for the things you did when everybody else was doing what you were doing or doing worse? Has this ever happened to you, not just in family, but in your spiritual religious experience? When these things happen to us over and over again, in addition to, of course, what we're taught in our childhood within the families we are raised in, as it relates to who we are in the cosmic scheme of things, because you are basically taught by humanity that you're weak and inferior. No matter how man glorifies his accomplishments and his abilities, there's a large group of our population who still feels, as it relates to the cosmos, as it relates to God, as it relates to spiritual dimensions, that we are little, we are nothing. So you grow up kind of with this concept. You're reading biblical texts that where they're interpreting the flesh is terrible, and you are terrible, and your heart is corrupt, and you are a sinner, and all these other things that are always deposited in you develops some kind of inferiority complex. And then, of course, in this experience of feeling inferior, you see yourself as inferior. And the way you relate to your God is as a speck in the universe. And the way you relate to other people at times is miniature, causing you to come up small in your own eyes. So, therefore, you're moving through this life thinking that you're ill equipped, thinking that you're not good enough, thinking that you're an outcast or an outsider. Watch this, believing that you're unworthy. Wow. I want you to type unworthiness in the comment section. That's a big one. Type unworthiness in the comment section. Let me talk about that for a few minutes. Type unworthiness in the comment section. Unworthiness in the comment section. I want you to understand that if you feel unworthy, you are in essence ascribing a value of smallness or inferiority to yourself. For example, because you don't have the degree that matches the job description doesn't mean you're unworthy. Did you hear me? Because you think a little bit differently than other people does not mean you're unworthy. Because you might have a few financial challenges right now does not mean you're unworthy. Because you look at your bank account and there aren't as many zeros as you desire to see behind those ones, twos, threes, all the way up to nine, does not mean that you are unworthy. But people struggle with worthiness, and they struggle, therefore, with feeling unworthy. Mm. They struggle with feeling unworthy. And when people struggle with feeling unworthy, hear me, family, you are not going to show up as the best version of you because you're basically saying, I'm small. Did you hear what I said? I'm going to say it again. You're basically saying, I'm small. One thing, I've graduated from traditional Christianity, but one thing that irked me for years and years that I used to hear preachers say I used to say it early on, and I stopped saying it once I received the revelation from, the Almighty about it. They used to always say, talking about Yeshua's death on the cross, and you're not worthy of a salvation. You're just unworthy. They would take certain scriptures and interpret it as being unworthy. And finally, I had an epiphany. I had a revelatory experience, and I'm like, how how am I somehow, some way unworthy? But you're telling me Yeshua, Jesus the Christ, died on the cross. This is what you're telling me. A price has been paid for me. Now, what I know in my value system is I don't pay for anything that I don't believe has worth. Period. All right. I don't issue my money out to make an exchange for any product, good, or service that's not worthy to me. So, you're constantly fed and taught, watch this, you're not worthy. You're constantly fed and taught that if you don't follow all the rules and guidelines, you're not worthy. I want you to hear me. You're constantly taught, hear me. If your credit score is low, you're not worthy. If the car you drive is not brand new, hear me, family, you're not worthy. If you don't dress like other people and have the same desires of other people, you're basically taught every day in this world that you are not worthy. And when people walk around feeling like they're not worthy, they make decisions, hear me, family, based on the state of consciousness that they now have crafted and constructed and developed inwardly that says to them that they are not worthy. So you are making these decisions based on unworthy beliefs about yourself. And what you don't understand is that when you show up in the world feeling unworthy, then it reflects back to you. Ernest Holmes is one of the most powerful metaphysical and New Thought teachers of the 19th and 20th century. He says life is a mirror and will reflect back to the thinker what he thinks into it. I know it's quiet. I'm not on Facebook. I hope I'm getting some likes and hearts. I really hope I'm getting some. What I want to say to you right now before I get into the mustard seed is if you believe you're unworthy, you're thinking and transmitting, watch this, and planting your own seeds into the world, into the universe, that's reflecting back to you, that's aligning with you as a statement or in taking a shape or form, hear me, that you are unworthy. So if you're thinking unworthy, you're imagining you're unworthy, you're transmitting this, you're speaking at times that you're unworthy, and therefore you continue to have stuff show up in your world that constantly reflects back to you that you're unworthy. You feel tiny and you feel small. Hear me? Therefore, you feel insignificant. Am I making any sense to anybody? I'm not on Facebook. I can't see if I'm getting any likes and hearts. Lord have mercy. Help me, help me, help me. Well, you don't talk good enough. Well, you're unworthy. Well, you don't have enough education. Okay, well, you're unworthy. Well, you're of a certain age. Watch this. Then you're unworthy. Well, you've made too many mistakes. Hear me, family. The world would judge you as unworthy. Makes you feel small. Makes you feel small. Have you ever made mistakes? Talk back to me. Have you ever made mistakes? And because you made this mistake X amount of times, for example, say you've been married several times, say you had children out of wedlock, say you were addicted to a substance, in and out of rehab, in and out of jail, and uh, you know, it appears that you're always in the throes of something controversial, despite the fact that you're cleaned up and changed. Have you noticed how people still want to hold that against you to make you think, watch this, because you erred and made that mistake, that you should not expect to live a high level, high quality life? Have people ever made you feel like that? Have they ever made you feel like you've done some stuff now that, listen, you got to deal with this now for the rest. You just got to suffer now for the next 20 years. You got to suffer now for the next 30 years. You just got to live with the consequences, watch this, in their minds, of living on the bottom side of life. Anybody talking back to me? I can't see if I'm getting no likes and hearts. You made a mistake 3 years ago. You made a mistake 5 years ago. You made a mistake last week. You made a mistake 10 years ago. And folks are still looking at you like you are that same person. And watch this. And they have already decided that you can only go so far in life now on the ladder of success. They are still, they have still unfairly categorized you. That's a good word. Categorized you as a person who can only go so high in this life. And if you accept these opinions of you, it makes you feel small. It makes you feel small. I want you to type it in the comment section. Type this in the comment section. It's a question. Type it in the form of a question. If by chance I am small, so what? Type that in the comment section. I'm going to put it up on the screen, whoever types it. If by chance I am small, so what? If by chance I am small, so what? Or it's really not a question, but it's cool. If by chance I am small, so what? Anybody else going to type it? If by chance I am small, so what? So let's approach it from the angle. You're not small as a being, but let's just roll with that thought for a few minutes. Let's roll with that thought. Say you are small. Now what? This is my question for you. So say you are small. Does that mean it's the end for you? Does that mean it's over for you? Does that mean you're done? I really want you to consider what I'm saying today. Some of you do feel small when you shouldn't feel small. But let's, for the sake of this presentation today, say that you are small. Does being small have to limit you? Mm-hmm. Does being small mean that your chances of success are over? Your chances for happiness are over, or the potential to have a fulfilling life is over? Is that what it means? I really want you to think about what I'm saying, because I know Yeshua, I know the Almighty has led me to declare this presentation today because somebody has been feeling small. And you're feeling small based on the things I said 15, 20 minutes ago in terms of the inventory you've taken concerning your own life. And as far as you're concerned, the way you compare it to others, you don't have much. Therefore, you feel like you aren't much. Wow. You're making these statements. Well, I'm just little so-and-so who lives in this little house and works in this little job. Some of y'all even have made the statement, well, I ain't really nobody special or important. I'm not no celebrity. I'm not known by a lot of people. I'm just me. That's all I am. That's all I got to offer. Watch this. It's just little old me. This is the way people think. So I'm going to provoke you today to go within and think, okay, does small have to be bad? Does small mean it's terminal? Does small mean it has ended? Does small mean that's the extent of your potential and there's nothing else you can accomplish in this life? I hope somebody's listening to me deeply within your heart, deeply within your spirit. Mhm. I want you to type in the comment section mustard seed. Type it in the comment section mustard seed. Type 2 words mustard seed in the comment section. Mustard seed. Type that for me in the comment section. Mustard seed. 2 words. Mustard seed. In this particular situation, Yeshua was dealing with, in his own cabinet, in his own presence, people who could not deal with a son who was considered to be, or a young man who was considered to be, demonized or somehow vilified by something that was evil. And when it was brought to his attention that his disciples, those who walked with him, could not handle the situation, Yeshua became angry because the Father said in verse 16 they couldn't cure him. And Yeshua's answer was that they were faithless and that they were perverse. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Perverse, listen to this, means to distort, means to misinterpret. Wow. To turn away. I hadn't planned on dealing with that. Let me get into that. Let me get into that before I get into the mustard seed. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Almighty. He called them faithless, which is translated apistos, which means disbelieving. Disbelieving. But he also called them perverted, again, which means to distort, to misinterpret. Wow. Somebody type real quickly in the comment section, wow, because I'm getting ready to say something. I'm getting ready to say something. Type in the comment section, wow. 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 Wow. Type this in the comment section because I'm getting ready to drop a bombshell on you. I'm getting ready to drop a bombshell on you. I'm getting ready. Thank you for the few who type wow. The word perverted, some people might think when he says perverted, he's saying they're evil. That's not what Yeshua is saying in the text today. From his observations, his disciples, hear me, did not have the faith, watch this, in the power and the authority they possessed, and the power and the authority they were. That's why he called them faithless. Disbelieving, hear me. Then he used the word perverted, which in this text again means to distort, means to misinterpret, means to corrupt, means to turn away. I got to emphasize this because I didn't see this before I came on today, but I'm seeing it right now. Do you realize that he used the word pervert? Hear me. Because powerful spirit beings like you and I of a God class, and these disciples were his understudies. These disciples were his apprentices. He's teaching them to be like him. He's teaching them that who and what I am in this world is who and what you're supposed to be every day. But it's perverted, watch this, when you and I think that we're weak and powerless, meaning that we disbelieve in our own authority, meaning that we disbelieve in faith to be one with God, faith to operate in power, faith to have authority, faith to master our situations. That is distortion, misinterpretation, aka perversion. Y'all quiet up in here. Y'all quiet up in here. Lord have mercy on my soul. Oh, faithless and perverse generation, how long shall I be with you? How long shall I suffer with you? Bring him hither to me. Hear me, family. He's not saying this to folk in the crowd. He's saying this to his own disciples who could not deal with this man's son, who is believed to have been plagued by evil. Anytime, family, it is perverse. See, I had this revelation some time ago, but it wasn't using this word perversion. I want you to know, family, I want you to know that you are distorting, perverting, hear me, your reality, and other folks are trying to pervert your reality when they tell you that you're not one with God, when they tell you you don't have certain powers and authority, when they tell you that you're not God-like. You need to hear what I'm saying. Yeshua expected his disciples to be able to do what he eventually did. Am I making any sense to anybody? Talk back to me. Y'all quiet. This faithless thing, this perverse thing he's saying is not to anybody else right now except his disciples. They did not believe, and he considered that to be perversion. They did not operate in the authority and the power that he had been discussing with them, and he considered that to be perversion. I want you and I to understand, it's a strong word in English, but in the Greek language, it means to distort. It means to misinterpret. They came upon a situation and misinterpreted, watch this, their role and misinterpreted their power in thinking that they could not rise to the occasion to master the complexities of whatever was going on in the young man, which in this case was called demonic or of evil influence. Hear me, family. I know folk think, and hear me. Come on, I feel something now. I know y'all think y'all talking good religious talk. Well, I'm just weak, and it's all up to the God, and I can't do nothing without him, and I can't do this and I can't do that, and if God don't do it, it won't get done. All this kind of stuff we say to ourselves, and Yeshua is telling his own disciples, you're perverted because you couldn't cast the spirit out. You're perverted because you didn't believe you had power, authority, and ability like I do to deal with this situation. Lord have mercy. It's a good thing there's not a whole lot of church folk on here today, because they probably be looking at me like I'm crazy. In other words, the lack of the demonstration of power, the lack of the demonstration of belief, the lack of the demonstration of authority in Yeshua's eyes was perversion. It was distortion. Hear me. There's a lot of distorted, aka perverted church folk, a lot of distorted, aka perverted so-called spiritual people who every day tell themselves what they cannot do, who every day tell themselves what they're not capable of, who every day tell themselves how weak they are, who every day tell themselves what they can't do if God don't do it. When you are one with God, when you are the offspring of God, when God is in you, operating with you every day, and you're around here denying your own position, your own rights, your own privileges, that is perversion, spiritual perversion, psychological perversion, mental perversion. It is a distortion of the truth of who and what you are. Woo. So and so has destroyed me. They destroyed my life. and there's nothing I can do about it. That is distortion, aka perversion. Well, the doc says that I got to live like this for the rest of my life. And what do I know? I'm not a medical doctor. So I guess I'm just going to be like this the rest of my life. That is a form of distortion, misinterpretation, Greek word, aka English word, perversion in this text. Well, you know, what I'm gonna tell you what's holding me back. What's holding me back is I don't know enough people. What they say is not what you know, is who you know. And I don't know enough people. That is a form of distortion, aka misinterpretation, which is perversion. Well, my credit is bad. And so, I guess I can, never really, this system is designed to keep me down. It's designed to keep me down. And I'm black too. Yeah, I just got to take what I can get because, I can only do what I can do. And what I can do is based on my credit score and the money I make. That is family distortion. Hear me what I'm saying. Misinterpretation. You are, aka in the English word, perverted. Because you do not believe in who and what you are, and you do not believe in the power you possess, and you do not even believe that you are powerful. Yeshua was expecting, hear me, family, his disciples to do what he eventually did. That's why he got frustrated. That's why he got angry. I need y'all to hear what I'm saying. While you're putting all the power in one being, you are the power, and that being is one with you. That being is a part of you. And anytime you and I think stuff is not possible because of something physical, because of other people who have been placed in our path seemingly to be our adversary and try and destroy us. The minute, family, the minute we capitulate, the minute we succumb with this doubt and this unbelief, hear me, is the minute we are operating in a form of perversion, that which is distorted in terms of the character and the image and the identity that you and I really are. Help me, Holy Spirit. Let me go back to Facebook because I can't tell. I hope I'm getting some likes and hearts out here in this Facebook world. I hope I'm getting some likes out here in this YouTube world, because what I'm saying now needs to be resonating deeply in your heart. Am I making any sense to anybody? Talk back to me. I see 2 hearts. I see 3. I see a couple of likes. Come on now. Am I making any sense? I know you have never heard this before. I know most of y'all ain't never heard this before. But this goes against, hear me, this goes against the natural order. I'm going to say it again. This goes against the natural order. Oh, I just said a word. I just said a word. I just said a word. I'm going to say it again. This goes against the natural order of who you are. This word perversion used in this text, when he said perverted, hear me. When we think of perverted in modern day times, we think of pedophilia. Okay. We think of peeping times. Come on now, somebody. Or we think of people doing stuff with their bodies and with themselves that, watch this, is the opposite of normal. Oh, in other words, it's not in alignment with the normal order of things. Oh, y'all catching on right now. So when he says perverted in his text, again, he says, oh, faithless and perverted generation. Again, he's not talking to the folk in the crowd. He's talking to his own disciples. He's talking to Peter, James, John, and all of the other boys. All of the other men he's grooming. He calls them faithless and perverted. They weren't living no nasty sexual lifestyles. They weren't out there in the world doing no. He's saying you are not in alignment with the natural spiritual order of who and what you are in terms of class, rank, and authority as a spiritual being. I got to come in here and do what you should already be doing. And if you're not doing, don't believe you can do what I do, what I'm showing you, this is distortion. This is misinterpretation. Again, this is what the word in the Greek means, aka the English word used in this text, perverted. I know y'all think y'all doing something because religion has taught you that you're doing something. When you talk about how weak and powerless you are, and it just can't happen. Oh, I just can't do it. I just don't have enough to do it. And I'm waiting on the Lord. And Yeshua got ticked in this text, family, ticked in this text, because they waiting on him to do something they were supposed to be able to do themselves. Oh, God, somebody help me. Somebody help me. I wish I had more likes and hearts. I really wish I had more likes and hearts. It helps the algorithm. Come on here. Come on here. Is anybody hearing what I'm saying with your spiritual mind, with your spiritual ears? Yeshua is angry and frustrated with them and calls them perverted because they're going against the spiritual order of things. Am I making any sense to anybody? Okay. What time is it? I only got a few more minutes. I don't see too many comments. Do you realize? Okay, wait a minute. Do you want me to leave this or not? Okay, I can't leave this today. I was going to get into the mustard seed. I only got a couple minutes left. Let me finish at 17. Again, he answered and said, "O faithless and perverse generation." Genia is the word in Greek. Faithless and perverse age, nation. Lord have mercy, Pastor God. It just opens up so many things. You and I are living in a generation of people. Listen to me. From the Almighty's perspective, perversion is not just a thing of pedophilia and rape and all these other things, or the misuse of power. It is also when you deny your power. Hear me. It is when you don't have the faith to own your power, which means you deny your power. When you don't have the faith to own your divinity, which means you deny your divinity. When you don't have the faith to own your authority, which means you deny your authority, it is perversion. And he said, a perverse generation. Do you realize there are folk in our churches that are perverse for the reasons I defined in Matthew 17:17? Look it up in your own concordance. Yeshua is talking to his disciples. I noticed that most of the time when they bring up perverse, you want to bring it up like it's evil. That's not what the text says. There's a distortion in their thinking. There's a distortion in their hearts and their minds that's causing them not to believe in themselves, not to believe that they are chosen, not to believe that they are powerful, not to believe that they are authoritative. And it goes against the natural spiritual order of hierarchy, the natural spiritual order of identity. Come on now. We got disciples acting like humans when they ought to be acting like little gods. They ought to be acting like Yeshua. They ought to be acting like sons of the Most High. But instead, they're acting like humans. They're acting like limited, can't do, helpless animals. Lord have mercy. Somebody help me. Somebody help me. The master is typically meek, but he's ticked. He's angry because they can't deal with the situation. Well, why would he be angry with them for something if they were not able to do it from the beginning? No, he's angry with them because they are able to do it. They had the capacity and the potentiality and the power, but they don't believe they are worthy. They don't believe that they can. Y'all, come on here. I feel like running. Somebody got in their ear and told them that only certain people could do certain things. Somebody got in their ear and told them the situation was too big for them. It was too evil. It was too chaotic. It was too out of control. This is too deep. This is beyond me. And Yeshua is not happy about it. He's basically saying, now I got to handle something you ought to be able to do yourself. So this word perversion here, again, later on when they're down in the text, and I'm not getting into it today, they ask him, why couldn't we do it? He said, because you didn't believe. And I want you to understand something again. This is why he starts out by calling them a faithless and then perverse generation. The men who hung with him weren't considered to be what we call evil. They weren't considered to be what we call perverted. So it wasn't morally, it was spiritually, it was supernaturally. Again, the word perversion here means to distort. It means to misinterpret. Come on here, somebody help me. Somebody help me. How many times have you and I misinterpreted who we were in the situation and did not have faith? Lord have mercy. How many times have you and I been in circumstances and situations and somehow, some way, for whatever reason, we thought it was over because somehow, some way, God wanted it to be over. Therefore, you stopped believing. And therefore, you put the nail in the coffin. It wasn't God who put the nail in the coffin. It was you, because you didn't own up and measure up to who you were designed to be, who you were designed to function as, who you were designed to operate as, even in this physical world. You gave your power away through your lack of belief. You gave your authority away through some type of contaminated, polluted thinking. I need y'all to catch what I'm saying today. And you measured and judged yourself not by God's standards, but by somebody else's standards. It is perverted for spiritual beings to believe that they're anything other than powerful. It is perverted for people who say they love God and say they love Yeshua to constantly act like and imagine in their mind and see in their hearts weakness, impotence, inability. Hear me. By spiritual standards, it's distortion, it's confusion, it is unbelief. I feel like running here. Yes. And I ended here today because I thought I was going to end it later on in the text, but I got to end it now because my time is about out. I ended by saying Yeshua shows time and time again these disciples how it should be done. And I'm going to ask you the question. I'm going to ask you the question. I'm going to ask you the question. How long are y'all going to continue to believe you're nothing? Got to ask you the question. I got to ask you the question. I got to ask you the question. How long are you going to continue to believe what certain people are telling you you can and cannot do? How long? How long are you going to believe somebody else's report versus Yeshua's report concerning you? How long are you going to believe somebody else's viewpoint of you versus God's viewpoint of you? How long are you going to continue to let the job you don't like define you? How long are you going to continue to let your negative, limited, small minded friends and family define who you are versus who God sees you as and has declared you to be and designed you to be and is teaching you to be? How long will you continue to say you walk with Yeshua, to say he's your Lord and Savior, to say you love God, but get in situations like this and think it's his job, not yours? How long are you going to continue to use Yeshua as a crutch? How long are you going to continue to pervert, distort, misinterpret, and be confused about who and what you are in this present world? Almighty, forgive me. And I forgive myself. Come on, say it with me. Almighty, forgive me. And then say, I forgive myself. Oh, I'm talking to myself, and I'm encouraging you to talk to God and talk to yourself, because this is a critical era. Now, y'all got to be honest. Y'all got to be honest. This is not bragging. You got to be honest. As many times as some of y'all been in church and you've heard this text, you've never heard it explained like this. Usually, when they talk about faithless and perverted generation, they make it seem like Yeshua is talking to the world. No, he's not. He's talking to his own men who with him every day. And the revelatory, even the literal interpretations of the text are rooted in the words itself, in the original language. And his disciples were representative of people who did not believe and did not own the authority, did not own power. They're listening to Yeshua teach every day. These are assignments they were supposed to be able to handle because he was training them to handle it. But they still believed only he could do it. You've never heard perverted explained like this, because that's what it means in this context. When I tell you you're powerful, it's a gift of awareness, and it's a belief because I know it. But too many times we fall into these ditches, these holes, like his own disciples did, and think we're unworthy and think we can't do and don't believe we have or possess powers and abilities to accomplish certain things. And we didn't know from the Almighty's perspective. We didn't know that from Yeshua's perspective exactly what perverted meant in this text and how it relates to us. Yes, the distortion of who and what we are makes it perverted. Stop seeing yourself as trash. Stop seeing yourself as worthless. Stop seeing yourself as less than. Stop seeing yourself as inferior. Stop seeing yourself as broke. Stop seeing yourself as ugly. Stop seeing yourself as misguided. Stop seeing yourself as one who's in the back and will never be seen. Stop seeing yourself as unappreciated. Stop seeing yourself as undervalued and depreciated. Stop seeing yourself as unintelligent. Stop seeing yourself and believing all of this crap. Don't be faithless. People think that when he called them faithless, it's because they didn't have faith in him. No, he's ticked because they couldn't do it, which meant they didn't have faith in themselves. Hear me, family. He's not angry because they did the right thing by not being able to cast that spirit out. He's angry because they couldn't, because they didn't believe they could. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I've been guilty on many occasions, but I am going to do better, and I encourage you. Don't distort your identity. Don't distort your authority. Don't pervert your abilities. Don't even pervert your existence by denying the gift of God that you are and the power of God that you are and the power of God that you possess. Almighty, I thank you for those who watched and tuned in today. Satamandia. Let there be an expansion of energy in them, presence, power, anointing, of awareness, of boldness, to eagerly embrace whom you say they are and whom you have defined them to be. And I thank you for it right now. Yeshua's name, his way, his power, his consciousness. It is so. And so it is. Tell me how you're feeling right now. Talk back to me. I always like to get your impressions before I get off here. Tell me how you're feeling right now. I want to hear from you real quick. Real quick, I want to hear from you. And I want you to prepare to give today in multiples of seven. Multiples of seven. And I got something before you give that I've been wanting to share with you for a few weeks. I'm going to put it up on the screen for you. I'm going to teach you something about giving real quick. But tell me, how did this message find you today? Talk back to me. Talk back to me. How you feeling? How are you feeling? Real quickly, talk to me. Talk to me. Let's see. Yogi says feeling light. Right. Vivian says encouraged. Wonderful. Resident pastor therapist. Jerry Cotton says, brother, I'm fired. Talk this thing all the way through. Thank you so much. Stephanie says it was amazing. I said thank you. So, thank you all. You might need to go back and watch this again. Let me tell you this, it is unnatural for you as a dynamic, powerful spiritual species to not believe in yourself and the power and the abilities that God has given you. Doubting, unbelief is unnatural to us. Wow, wow. So if it has become natural, it is what Yeshua is saying, again in the Greek, to distort, to misinterpret. In the English, that word was perverted. That's not who and what you really are. And you are abusing your own self. So you're facing challenges? Okay. Do it in faith. That's the natural way for you to deal with it. Use the authority. What authority? The position you already have. What did Yeshua show them with the fig tree? That he could speak to things and it happens. Okay. Yeshua was showing them so that they could do that. He talked to them about prayer in Mark 11:22-24. Then prayer is an inside situation. It's not external, it's inside. He's talking to them like in verse 24, what things soever you desire when you pray. The desire of prayer is inwardly, in the heart and the mind. He says, believe that you receive them. That means in the heart and in the mind, I believe through my thoughts that it's mine. I believe through the images of seeing me possess it that it's mine. And then he goes on to say, and ye shall have it. Faith in that whole creative manifesting process. That's who and what you are every day. Hallelujah. I feel like running. Okay. I want you to give as God has blessed you to give. And some of you all are being led to give more today. I sense it. Just obey it. Let me give you a confession to make every time you give that has worked for many people. I'm going to put it up on the screen. Now I say something every time I spend money and every time I give. Maybe one day I'll tell you what I say, but what I say, I pray over you in terms of your return. I want you to know from the beginning that if you give anything here in terms of money, of course, time and love, I have prayed a certain multiplicative or multiplying factor on whatever you give here. And it won't just come back to you as money, it will come back to you as favor, goodness, opportunities, health, wholeness, love. It's already been prayed before I come on. And throughout the week, I pray for people who give, and I pray for a certain kind of return on their gift. So I'm already praying that for you automatically. But I want you to start saying this when you give. That's not just to ministry. That's if you go to the store and spend money, you can say this: I release this money freely, and God multiplies it exceedingly. Because too many times we don't understand that, again, we are determining what happens when we do anything in this world. So if you're giving and feel like you're losing, then guess what? You're most likely going to fall into some situations where it seems like you're not getting a return on your giving. But when I spend money at a store, there are certain things I say before I spend the money and after I spend the money in terms of the return that's coming back to me. I'm circulating, but I speak that now so that you can speak in faith, in love, this statement. Now, I want you to write it in and type it in the comment section. I want you to type this statement in the comment section. You know why? You know why? Because you are placing intent, you are creating intent, and you're creating harvest. There's already a law of reciprocity. You're boosting the power of whatever it is you give, period. I start realizing, and I'm seeing it happen, as they say a lot of the time, when I started this a month or two ago, with some things I say when I'm spending money at the grocery store, if I'm at a restaurant, if I got to buy some toothpaste or whatever. You know why? I'm looking for what I give, even in those places, to be returned back to me in a certain multiplicative factor. I guarantee you, family, if you start giving in love and joy and peace and making this statement, I release this money freely, and God multiplies it exceedingly, and just walk away, you're going to see what you said manifest in your life. My Lord, my Lord. I know I said give in sevens, but I don't know. I sense that somebody's going to give in tens today. Whatever you're led to do, you do it. The giving opportunities at the bottom of the screen. Cash App, $AG Green, $AG Green now. Of course, there's Zelle as well. I'm going to release you with the shalom blessing. Thank you for your feedback today. Appreciate you so dearly. Love y'all so dearly. I'm always praying for you. I believe in you. Listen to me, and I'm going to say this. Let me say this. I see and know that those who watch consistently and open their hearts, listen, you are going to experience fulfillment, joy, peace, mindset growth, abundance, financial abundance, love, romance. Come on now. You're experiencing and will continue to experience these things. Closeness to God, understanding and awareness about who and what you are, and so many more things. Hear me, hear me. Because you opened your heart and you applied it. See, I'm not teaching for you not to become the best version of yourself. I am teaching for you to become the best version of you. So when I share these little nuggets, like I'm sharing when you give, whenever you release money, you give some to your mama. You say to yourself or say out loud before you give it, I release this money freely. And God multiplies it exceedingly. You know why? Because when you give, it's supposed to be given unto you. It's supposed to return to you. And many of you all give out of what's called a need, which means you desire, you need it back. It's got to come back. Well, why not be intentional about it? You powerful, dynamic, spiritual being that is a son, daughter of God. You have the rights and the privileges to give it with intention and it come back the way you declared it would. And watch things start shifting. After you release it, you'll see it, feel it. There'll be a joy in your heart, knowing there is no real deficit for me. There is no real loss for me. There's only gain when I release. This is what I have to do, whether there's $1, whether it's 10, whether it's 100 that I'm spending, whatever amount, no matter even what the bank account looks like. I give, and there are certain things I say. Now, y'all love me because I love y'all. If you're just joining us, thank you. You should play it and replay. Big things come in little packages. Wonderful, wonderful presentation. Wonderful gathering today online. And I thank you for listening. I thank you for being blessed. All right, y'all have typed it in the comment section. Now I want you to put it in your notepad somewhere, write it on a piece of paper somewhere so that you will be reminded when you give anywhere at any time. I release this money freely. God multiplies it exceedingly. All right. Appreciate you. Shalom, shalom, peace, wholeness, and prosperity. Nothing missing and nothing broken. You are blessed. You are empowered. You are prosperous. Enjoy your day.